T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast. The podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Eric Fiskus, Brady Liming, and Todd Griffin.
Hail, hail, the gang's all here. It's like retro day. Had to play the old retro intro.
The retro intro.
Retro intro.
You could even say that backwards. Intro retro.
There you go. Welcome, gents.
Howdy ho.
Soy feliz como un cachorro con dos Pedros. I'm as happy as a canine with two Pedros.
That sounded rehearsed. Have you been studying that today? That sentence? That intro?
Mucho taco. Tierra del Fuego.
Nice South American reference there.
Yeah.
I've got nothing.
Nada.
Yep. Nada.
Sorry.
Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast, episode 123. 123.
Oh.
Hey. Todd Griffin is back with us. The prodigal son has returned.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's good to be in the middle. It's good to be the meat and the sandwich.
No one's ever called you the meat.
I want to make a between the buns, but I shall refrain.
But that would be wrong because it's betwixt.
Betwixt, that's right.
Tis facts. Tis facts.
Check in. Hi,
Hey, Savannah.
Savannah.
All right. There's some other people there in the room.
Lurking about.
Yes. In the shadows. All right. If you've never been to our show before, we all bring a topic to the table. We'll discuss said topic until we've exhausted said topic, maybe. If it's a bracket, it may go on longer than tonight. But
Bracket.
Us go longer, never.
Bracket.
You mean right on the lines? Oh,
Maxwell.
Maxwell.
All right. So we are in the order on the screen, which we will appear. First of all, however, Mr. Griffin, if you would.
I will.
Visit our website, www.playitbyearpodcast.com. Learn about our show. A lot of things. Wow. We just had an influx of people. Went from like 4 to 11. Just like
It goes to 11.
11. Anyone who just came in, check in. We'd like to see who's here or
Please stand up. Please stand up.
or not. All right. So we've kind of dispensed with the 20-minute timer. I don't know. It just I don't know. It just doesn't work. But we'll try to keep ourselves contained.
It was
Dennis,
time.
the third
Hey, Dennis?
Dennis.
Something like
amigo.
that.
Wait,
Are you
yes.
voguing? Are you voguing or are you three amigoing?
I don't know. I don't know what would McDonough's Vogue look like anymore.
Scary.
No kidding.
I don't
Three
need to
Amigos is an underrated movie, by the way.
I think the most underrated moment of the Three Amigos is when they accidentally shot the invisible swordsman. When the
Yeah.
gun goes off, and then you just see the clunk and the like the imprint in the sand. That's low key funny.
I still
Anyway.
like the airplane joke. It's a male plane.
Or when they're trying to do the bird call. Aha! Look up here! Look up here! Hey guys!
Can't believe they haven't remade that.
Rose.
So that's a topic.
Ew,
Who would be the
bird.
new?
You have to have the originals. You have to have the.
Yeah, different movie.
Where they all come back for a, geriatric amigoing.
Yes.
Because it would be hard to put I think I could put together a pretty good modern day Three Amigos.
Paul Rudd.
Red.
It has to
Charlie
be.
Day,
Charlie Day, Paul Rudd. Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
Yes.
Welcome, Karen. It has been a minute.
Hey, Karen.
Hello, Mom.
Mom.
Linda. It's good to see you, Linda.
Ooh, Jack
Good to
Black.
see your words. Good to read your words, Linda.
Jack Black. That's another one. Good one, Dennis.
Yes.
All right. Brady,
Yes.
you're up.
Okay. It has been a while since we've done this topic. And I was cleaning out my nightstand of bric-a-brac and just throwing stuff out. And
Boom, bugs, rah, 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 rah.
But I happened across my Would You Rather book that I have not. It has not been like I had another one that I'd read from.
So that was in their nightstand and not the back of the tank. That's a toilet bowl book if I've ever heard of one. man.
Yeah, you threw me there. Is like
Yeah,
what,
the-
fish tank?
No, the
But,
toilet tank.
The toilet tank. That would be Uncle John's Bathroom Reader series, which are amazing because a former significant other would get embarrassed because I would ask for those for Christmas because they were great bedtime reading.
Yeah.
And I would be right because they're fat. I mean, I credit Uncle John's Bathroom Reader for my wealth of just useless knowledge.
You can't read the bathroom reader in bed.
No.
That's illegal.
Yeah. You read a
Well, then I
bedroom reader
broke
in
the
bed.
law. I'm a
Well,
rebel.
You did break the law.
Don't read it too much, and you'll get the roids.
That is true.
I had to have that uncomfortable conversation with our now 11-year-old as of yesterday, Ridge,
Happy birthday,
because
Rich.
he takes his Nintendo Switch in there, and it really does not have anything to do about the commerce he's conducting. I think it's just a quiet place where he could play video games unfettered.
Yeah.
Well,
But
yeah.
then, I'm like, dude, you're going to get hemorrhoids. But
Yeah.
it'll hurt your butt.
Then
He's
it
like,
won't be
"What's
Nintendo
that?"
Switch. It'll be Nintendo Itch, if you know what I mean.
And if they're bad enough, he'll have a Nintendo Stitch because they'll have to fix them with the laser surgery. But no, one of the most hilarious but like uncomfortable stories is when one of my favorite directors, Kevin Smith, was talking about he got there's hemorrhoids, but then there's like this hemorrhoids on steroids called anal fissures. And he got that because when he would go to conduct his commerce, he would play his Game Boy and sit there for 45 minutes at the time. And the doctor, the proctologist said, well, that's a problem because your body's just not meant to be prone like that. And he said it was the most agonizing pain. And to hear him tell the story when he applied the cream for the first time that he thought was going to help him
Cram.
and the creme. And it's a
Salve.
very funny, the salve. The salve. But anyway,
So hemorrhoids on
Ointment.
steroids. I like that. That has a ring to it.
hemorrhoid on
Ointment.
steroid.
Ointment.
Ointment, salve, or cram.
Mercurochrome. You put that
Not
on
be
there?
confused with pink bismuth.
I think you
I
might put
was,
that on there.
yeah, I gave you some props when I was going over the
Steak
periodic.
bismuth.
When we were going over the periodic table in my 9th grade physical science class, and bismuth is an element, and I said, by the way, that is an ingredient in Pepto Bismol.
Yeah.
So I thought of you when I told that little anecdote.
Thank you.
All right. Are you ready to Would You Rather?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start you off gently. Would you rather have an innate ability and gift to select the fastest moving checkout line, or
Or
be able to sense farts 30 seconds before they happen so you can avoid?
I think you already have that power, Brady.
Why would you avoid it?
Like it'd be like Spider-Man senses, except lines come out of your head. It'd be like smell lines. It'd be like,
Each their own how they use that superpower.
yeah. You tell.
What you call hell, he goes home. Eric, I'll jump in real quick and just say that the first one,
Checkout line.
the checkout line, yeah. I mean,
I mean,
I have
it
nothing,
definitely-
nothing to explain it. I just that's what I would
Absolutely.
pick. Yeah.
Well, as someone who never picks the right checkout line, I could be second in line, and then someone in front of me would either forget something that they needed, and they would let them send someone else back for it. There'd be a price check,
They're paying in pennies.
and then you even if I'm even shifting lines, the person that was behind me in the other line would be through by the time I get through, even though I'm second. So,
Well, they shut it down right when you're next.
oh yeah.
They turn the light off and go to a different. Yeah.
Right, that too. By the way, Scan and Go at Sam's, greatest thing ever invented. So you
It
don't
is
have to
pretty
worry about that stuff.
Samuel has it figured out.
So yes, I would go along with picking the correct checkout line. And by the way, I want to say hi to Kirsten, who's with us.
Kirsten.
All right. You ready for the next one?
And by the way, we always want our audience to chime in as well.
Oh, yes. Checkout line or flatulence detecting 30 seconds before it happens.
Why 30 seconds? That's a strange. That would be a strange skill.
Not really, because like 30 seconds, you get to book it away. So if you know somebody that has had the crab dip and it's coming, you could avoid that low tide and poop
I
smell
am a grown.
because
I
you know
run.
it's
Fr-
coming.
I
and then
run
you
from no flatulent.
So, all right, so we need to qualify this flatulent. But are you able to sense the level of smell?
No, you just know
Prior
it's
to-
coming.
Or
Prior
the
to X-
girth, like, or the.
The breadth.
So you just know that there's flatulence ahoy.
Like,
you know, it's not-
oh
the,
no.
The
Now,
aridness.
okay, but think of it situational. Now that could get a little bit overwhelming. Let's say that you're at Golden Corral or Cracker Barrel, where you know you're going to be bombarded by like constant,
I just expected it,
Messages?
Cracker Barrel.
yeah. We've said it once and we've said it again. Anytime, 24/7, you walk into the restroom at Cracker Barrel and some ignoramus is conducting commerce at a horrible rate. I hate
All right.
going in there to the restroom.
So does this power also allow you to determine where the flatulence emits from, or just that there's
Where
one-
else do you think it's
one-
going to come from?
no. You don't understand.
I know where he's going.
Who is doing it, or
Oh.
one is in the air, one is imminent. So it's like tornado detection. You don't know where it's going to drop, or yes, I know that person's about ready to do the business.
Well, my interpretation, it says that you get the spider sense. So once again, if you're at Cracker Barrel, it's going to be going off left and right, and you can kind of tune it out. But if you're in the car, and Uncle Bruce is in the back seat, and he's just ate the taco special. And like it goes off, you know you're gonna pull over and get out.
Or
You're
Uncle
going to
Bruce,
cause a damned car wreck, Brady, trying with that power.
or Uncle Bruce.
Well,
is
after
gonna
I
lock the
pass
window.
out inside the vehicle, it's gonna cause a car wreck. So
I think it wouldn't be long. People will be able to beat that power. I think people will be able to throw you off.
With fart ventriloquism.
Yes.
So they psych it to somebody else.
Or they have a way to start the timer and then adjust the timer. You know what I mean? Like they start the timer, they kick it in, so you're like 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden they can somehow skip forward like 15 seconds without you knowing.
So it's kind of like a fart detection fuzzbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buster. I haven't heard that word since 1978.
Heard it on the CB. Thank you very much.
Bears out there.
DQ, DX.
So
What's 40?
Are you saying throwing off the detection by sphincter control? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I
Or
think
by
so.
psychic energy.
Either.
Like a jamming signal. He doesn't know it's coming.
Yeah.
Mm.
I still think I think the first superpower's better.
Savannah says checkout line. She's the only one that voted. All the rest of these people are thinking they've just spent 5 minutes talking about flatulence.
Something that wasn't coleslaw.
Right?
That's true.
Something could be caused by coleslaw.
Oh, speaking of which,
Oh, Lord.
I usually don't eat the school food, but I needed to eat something, so I was just gonna get a peanut butter sandwich they had on hand,
Sandwich.
and a sandwich. But I was kind of in line because I'm under the opinion, I don't care if I'm a teacher, I'm not gonna cut in line. I'm not special in that regard.
How noble of you.
Yes, I feel strongly about that.
Hey,
And-
let me interject here for a second. If I didn't cut in line, I would spend 30 minutes waiting for my food.
That might be, but I'm conversing while I'm in line. I'm building those relationships.
But do you have a limited lunchtime?
I do, but honestly, ours moves pretty quickly. But I'm
Okay.
sorry. I know I sound like a methods class. I'm kind of like overplaying that a little bit. But I accidentally said, somebody asked me what was for lunch. And I said, well, I'm just getting the peanut butter. But I think they're having pulled porpoise.
You said that.
I said that. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say pulled pork. So never mind. Inside joke. Because there was this confused look like, you know. So, anyway.
Meat sandwich.
So,
Well, by the way, Todd, did you see that they've recalled hundreds of thousands of cans of canned beef, canned meat?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Potted
Po-
or deviled?
Meat?
like Spanish sort of thing.
I don't eat that stuff these days. I mean, I like it, but I don't buy it usually, so that wouldn't affect me.
Gosh. I just had a brilliant idea. Why have we thought of this? Spam with salsa or queso, español. Gosh, it is.
But that needs to be on a T-shirt.
Nice.
Nice. That just came out of nowhere. But anyway, so are you ready for now? Now this next one, we're gonna go into a little bit of unpleasantry. So we got to go with some some funness, and this one's gonna bring the pain a little bit. So
Okay.
are you ready?
Sure.
Would you rather have rusty razor blades hammered beneath each of your fingernails, or
Oh,
push your face into a belt sander for a minute?
Eric?
Now, I know we're
I-
not going to get much discussion about this one, but I just like watching your guys' reactions.
I don't think you can make it on a minute or for a minute with your face in a belt sander. So I think that would be death. So I guess I would choose the thing that's not death.
Yeah. I don't
Which
think
would
it'd
be
death.
the
It'd
razor
be
blade.
torture.
Well, I was that's where I was going first, but then I thought when you said that, it dawned on me. There's not enough information, not enough context to know the speed of the belt sander. So if you could slow it down to where it's just like a I think you could last a minute.
How did that go again?
And Eric, if you think about it, you could choose the part of your face that was up again the belt sander. If it were like here, I agree. But if you could like get your
the
jawbone, your
Or your forehead.
your
for it, the
yeah,
cheek
your,
edge.
your temple. Your temples. I've said this before. If I were ever going to get a face piercing, I think right here is the one I could take the most. I can take a lot of pain right there, I think. So I think if I put that up against the belt sander, I could last a minute. Whereas the other thing creeps me out. Anything under my fingernail. You said fingernails, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't
yeah.
I can't deal with that.
I gave
Peeling
my-
finger
Oh,
Yeah.
I gave myself the Williams so bad one time when like I was like a toothpick. I had a toothpick and I was picking up a stuff and it broke and the end of the toothpick kind of went under my fingernail just a little bit. Not enough to be painful, but it messed with my head.
Yeah.
It's like,
I had a in November we were playing a place up in Springboro and the stage, real nice like stage, but it was the platforms used for stage was like that I don't know what they called it, not plywood, but that wood that's like
Particle board?
part that has like the it's
Marble.
made out of it's made out of different pieces like glued together. You can tell because it's got.
Yeah.
Well, I reached down to try to pick up a cable and literally ran about a 5-inch splinter, not 5-inch, about a 2-inch splinter under my nail, all the way back to the back of my nail, and I had to pull it out and play the whole. I had to pull it out and play the whole show with that, and it was instant. Like within 5 minutes, my whole finger was sore, like just sore to the touch. So yeah,
I think you
horrible.
could. I think you could cut your arm off and not feel as much pain as something like that.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going belt sander.
I'll stick with the razor blades. But
Okay, this is a fun one. Silliness. Would you rather have a neck as long as your torso or have a torso as short as your neck? So are you going to be a giraffe?
I was going to say, so you're a giraffe or a Pringles can?
Yes.
a giraffe to giraffe.
Giraffe.
God bless me with a long torso. So I mean, my neck would be.
See, I would be
Twice
6
as tall.
I would be 6'5" if my torso matched my legs and my arms. I'm salty about that.
See, I think my son, who is 6'5" to 6'6", I think he got my torso in his mother's legs. That's why he's so much taller. But
Yeah.
um,
That's a tough question because aside from the overall height thing, which isn't a problem because I assume if this is a thing, then it doesn't really matter. But I think what's lacking in this is still proportion because if my torso is the same length as my neck,
So
how do I know when is my neck still the same width? Or am I just a sausage? Am I just a link?
yeah.
Am I-
So basically, setting on top of your pelvi, and your arms and head will be on something this big. So your legs, a briquette of flesh, and your
Would your-
head sitting on top of it. So
would your
like,
legs and arms be the same length?
yeah, everything's the same. So instead of
So-
being a giraffe, you're like it looks like you've been hit by a pile driver.
So you're saying that I don't have long legs at all, but you're saying my legs would be the length they are now,
Yes.
except I would have this. My body would be the same length as my neck, and my neck would stay the same length as it is now.
Correct. Or you could have what you have now, but like my torso is this long, so my neck I could get like the good leaves from the top of the tree.
I would look like a Folgers can on a set of sawhorses. That's what I would look like,
Yes.
or a sawhorse, if you will, one sawhorse.
That's a tough question.
That is. Neither one of them are good. It's just like you pick your poison.
I think I always err to the side of a low profile, so I guess I would choose the neck the size of the torso.
Yeah, because like I mean, if it's too, I could
Or
always
the
like get a
torso the
sunroof.
size of the neck. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, backwards.
Oh, see,
The other way, you would never be able. You would definitely
yeah,
stick
yeah,
out.
but That's correct.
yeah. I mean, yeah, but if you look like you were half a person with arms dangling from your pelvis, you're gonna stick out too.
Yeah, I keep forgetting the arms are the same length.
Everything's the same.
They're
just
gonna-
the torso short.
Yeah.
So Karen says that's a Reedy thing, one of our family tree things there. So yeah, my son got the Reedy torso and the Jennings legs. Dennis rubbernecking. So, yes.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Karen also says she has a long torso and toddler-length legs and T-Rex arms. And Linda, yes, you have it correct, Mom.
Yeah.
You look like SpongeBob.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Would you rather have your hair harden into a helmet on your command or
Oh,
have universally adaptable Bluetooth speakers built into your ears?
definitely.
Oh no, that
speakers.
coconut's falling from a tree. And then you just get the hair helmet or you're falling off your bike.
It would put the hard hat people out of business and also
It would.
the earbud people out of business.
But
either-
we got to say, not everybody, just you. It's your superpower.
Oh, that's okay.
Definitely the speakers.
Yeah, definitely.
Not
Yeah.
even-
There's very few occasions in life that I need a hard hat these days.
yeah.
True.
Usually I'm just hitting myself on the head with the pull string on the fan, which still pisses me off when I do that. I hate to hit my head. I don't care how light it is. I hate to hit my head.
And it's the same reaction. I don't hit my head on that because my head doesn't reach it. But when you hit your head, it doesn't matter how hard you hit it. You react the same way. You react
And
like
we
you just
cannot
got ran.
repeat the word.
Yes.
It does not matter.
If it doesn't knock you unconscious, you're acting the exact same way, whether it's a spider web you walk into or
let's just say
beam.
the word excrement is
Yeah.
thrown about. And it's involuntary.
Yes, yes, Kirsten, we know which one you would need. Definitely the hair helmet.
Okay.
Yeah, so you too, Karen. And
All right.
Dennis says helmet hair while he still has hair.
That's interesting. 3 helmet hairs.
Yeah. No one wants the Bluetooth ear speakers.
Huh. Interesting. I would totally go with the
See,
Bluetooth earbuds.
just for the mere fact that there is no earbud in existence that fits my ear canals correctly.
Is it a size thing, a shape thing? Is it a depth?
Do you have wee little canals in your ears?
Because griffins, we notoriously have tiny ear holes. So we have a hard time finding them to fit ours as well. But luckily, they come with 5 or 6 different. Anymore, they come with
Nipples.
a variety. Yeah, a variety.
Change the nipple
a
on it.
variety of ear nipples, and usually a couple like they have the rubber ones and the spongy ones.
I guess the nipule, not the. Nikki, welcome. She says helmet hair as well.
Hello, Nikki. I don't know how anybody wears the regular, like if you get the buds that always come with like an iPhone. I don't know how anybody wears
Yeah.
those. Those are the most uncomfortable, useless.
Yeah. It's just something that shouldn't go there. That's the best way it's put.
Yeah.
All right.
John Brown would have the speaker ears.
There we go.
John.
Nikki, thank you for tuning in, Nikki. I personally accosted her and say, Nikki, tune in tonight. And she did. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen says you've obviously never face planted a concrete block wall and knocked yourself out. No, I have not.
But if I did, I would
Knock on
be
wood.
listening to some good music on the way down.
That is true.
Yeah. Bang your head. All right. How about this one? Would you rather only be able to open your eyes 1/8 of an inch or only be able to open your mouth 1/8 of an inch? So we're like, or
Well, you
try this big old sandwich. Sorry.
flatten it out. To flatten it out and
Panini for me.
Uh,
man. Well, one of them would make survival difficult. The other one you could get by with. I mean, not easily, but I would think if your mouth didn't open any more than that, it would be hard to survive. Eric's trying it. He's going.
Yeah, I was the same. We all go. I know. How does that look?
Do both at the same time.
You look like there was some cartoon character, like a guy who had the slits for eyes and the little mouth.
That's
it was one of Speedy Gonzalez's cousins.
I guess.
Yeah, he was the one that. Hey, is that their sister? That one, and he always had his eyes. That's totally who it was.
That's one of those things where you're walking in Ripley's Believe It or Not museum or something, and it asks you that on the wall, and it has a mirror for you to see what you look like with both, and then you walk around the corner, and everybody's laughing at you. It's a two-way mirror.
Yeah.
Yes, Savannah, Mr. Magoo. Could be very Mr. Magoo-ish. And John
Mr.
said that as
Magooey?
well. Magoo. Savannah says eyes. I guess I'd probably
All
say eyes.
I'm going eyes. Again, how would you eat? How would you survive 1/8 of an inch? There's not much food going in that hole.
Yeah. Hole. Probably a lot of Ensure shakes, I guess. I don't know.
Yes. All right. Would you rather have a horn on your car that projects a hologram of a big middle finger, or your car alarm beep sound is the theme to Law and Order?
Oh,
I think I know what Eric's.
No.
yeah. You both know what I'm going to pick. Middle finger all day long.
Really? I thought you were going to go Law and Order. I would have bet
Oh,
money on it.
no. Me and my classic road
Well,
rage. would
yeah,
not pick
that's-
middle finger.
That was my first thought, but then with the Law and Order thing. Now, if it had been Matlock or Murder She Wrote, you'd or in the heat of the night, you would have had
Or
to
the
think
wall.
twice about it.
Definitely in the heat of the night.
I'm going with the middle finger as well.
She's. Nah, I won't say that.
I feel so bad for laughing at that for days.
Oh man.
But no, I would go with. I'm not a raging driver, but I would definitely go with that middle finger. Wonder how long it lasts. What the hell happened?
You all right? Did you
Yeah,
fall off the chair?
it made me jump. My face lighting tripod fell off
Oh,
fell off for some unknown reason.
thought you fell. I thought you were falling backwards.
No, just I saw the light coming toward me. And I'm like, don't go to the light. Anyway,
How long does the middle finger last? Like how long is it? Is it just instant? Is it just flash? Does it go up there? Does it take a couple miles to
I think
fade?
you're going to lay on your horn if you do that, so it's going to last as long as you.
Yeah. That's true.
yeah. I kind of think of it as like the amount of time that you've lain on the horn, because if you're just like beep beep, like to let somebody know you're going around,
What-
probably the whole hand doesn't come out.
I was going to say, or is it a deal where like you lay on your horn and you have to like it comes up real slow, and then the more you lay on it, yeah.
Where the offending appendage comes up.
Or maybe the little beep beep is a little hand going, little wavy hand. Hey.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta lay on to get the finger.
We should invent that.
We should.
All right, so let's see. Karen says middle finger no gone test. Is that a play it by earism, Karen? Or is that a typo?
I'm not laughing at Karen's typo. I'm laughing at Eric for reading it like that.
Gun
No
test.
gun
No
test.
gone test. Dennis, Law and Order versus Death Wish through Road Rage. Yes. Split family. Are the Fanes. Dylan says middle finger. She goes with Law and Order. Kirsten says Brady hit his head.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it just came flying at me. Believe it or not, it didn't really affect the lighting too much.
I was going to say, I never noticed the change.
Did you
So-
about employ your helmet hair there?
I did. I'm about ready to play the middle finger, but no, I'm kidding. Okay, so how about this one? Now, this one is going to get a little bit uncomfortable. So, this is a little bit cringy. Would you rather find out that all of your moments in front of a mirror in the past week have been secretly filmed and broadcast on YouTube? Or
Well,
the last 30 minutes of conversation has been secretly filmed and broadcast on YouTube, which for us,
Yeah. You mean the last 30 minutes, 30 seconds, or 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
Maybe the 30 minutes before the podcast started.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to do that. There's no winner there.
Like I said, this is cringy. I'm going to go with the conversation because I could always apologize for jokes I made.
But you can't apologize for the joke in the mirror, can you, Brady?
Nope. You
Right.
beat me to the punchline. So if I'm like shaving and trimming my beard, or putting on my moisturizer or something like that,
See, that wouldn't. I thought you were talking like
flexing
the
my
full length
six-pack.
mirror.
oh yeah, full length
Yeah.
mirror. That'd be no good.
Yeah, I was going to say the face mirror wouldn't bother me at all. I
Yeah,
don't do anything in the face mirror that every other person doesn't do every day.
No greater truth spoken, John Barney. No one needs to see my stretch marks either.
So, again, though, like, I think the mirror it depends. If it's face mirror, I'm going face mirror over conversation. If it's full body mirror, I'm going conversation over full body mirror.
Okay,
Yeah.
correct. Not enough information in the Would You
yeah.
Rather.
You got to give what you got to get. We just got to go with what they give us.
Right.
So, all right. Because we're at 36 minutes. I have two more, and for some reason I think these are hilarious, but I'm warped. So here we go. Would you rather never be able to open your mouth when you're throwing up, or
Or-
have your nostrils and lips seal shut when you sneeze?
okay,
That'll kill
you blip there on me a little bit. Yeah, your
Oh, I'm sorry.
nostrils and your
Your
nostrils.
nostrils, excuse me, your nostrils and lips seal shut when you sneeze.
that blow your eardrums up.
Huh.
So I was
Lord.
actually going to bring this up when you had the one earlier about you only could open your mouth 1/8 of an inch. I was thinking, what about when you vomit? So this is kind of like the same thing. So are you saying you would just swallow?
I'm saying
Or would it
You
come
would
out your nose?
it would come out in your nose holes, or maybe they're sealed shut. So it doesn't say that it's liquid tight. So maybe it might be like 30 pounds psi
You just
coming
can't
out of.
spew.
Yeah, you can't spew.
Baby, what's that coming out your nose?
What that about you know?
Maybe you would just
Mama.
maybe you would just damn yourself to eternal diarrhea. Maybe everything would just reroute.
Yeah. Yeah, that like that's
I mean, after a while, wouldn't your body adapt and just say, "Okay, we know we can't go that way. We got to."
Could go the other way.
Yeah,
it's gonna have to go someplace.
Could be.
All right.
I'm going nose holes and what was the other one? Nose holes and eye holes.
Moose.
Nose holes sealed shut and lips sealed shut when you sneeze, or lips sealed when you
I thought it was ears. It's ears and nose holes when you sneeze, isn't it?
No, this
So
said
mouth.
your
Mouth.
Your mouth.
Your mouth. I'm going to that one.
yeah.
Yeah, I rarely vomit.
Outside of fourth grade, thank you, Eric.
Well, yes, right.
I rarely
Seriously,
vomit too. Yeah.
I mean that I bet I've vomited maybe. I mean, not counting like when you're a baby and you do that all the time, but 10 times in my life, maybe.
Oh Lord,
That's
Seriously,
averaging
seriously,
once every 5
Seriously.
years.
seriously.
seriously.
Yeah, I'll bet. I mean, PJ's the same way. I'll bet he's vomited 5, maybe 3 or 4 times in his life.
Oh,
I'm
get
not a
out.
vomiter.
The first time he really vomited, he was probably 6 years old. And he didn't know what was going on. He's crying and it's "Whoa." He had never done it. So yeah, we just don't vomit.
My mom got so angry at me when one time I'd had to have some teeth pulled, some baby teeth, to make room for my braces, because believe it or not, my mouth's small. And so anyway, the gas stuff made me sick, And I remember getting out of the car and I started getting nauseous, but I was also still stoned from the gas. And I got tickled by it. I was like, bah, bah. And she was getting mad at me because I was laughing as I was yakking. But it
I
just,
remember you telling that story.
yeah. All right. And then the last one of the night. So, would you rather stutter at the end of every word? And I'm going to read it phonetically what they say. Would you rather stutter at the end of every word, like every word,
Yeah, right.
or
Well,
have written Tourette syndrome? So when you type, it's uncontrollable. And I will paraphrase things to but much consider: PowerPoint, marital aid, presentations, love letters, feline trap, and yeah, and that like you would
That's
have
on there? That's
what?
That's written on what you just read, or that's written
no,
on what
I'm
you.
paraphrasing.
Oh, okay.
I'm making
I
this
know, but-
TV.
I know, but
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah.
is what you're reading from something. Okay.
Yeah, so they give you an example. So after typing every word, it's uncontrollable and uncorrectable. You have written Tourette's.
I think definitely the written Tourette's because I could do voice to text if I need to type something.
I was getting ready to say, I think your requirements to write are probably not as plentiful as your requirements to speak.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's such a thing as written Tourette's.
I don't know.
I don't know. Sometimes when my autocorrect kicks in after a system update, I think I have written Tourette's.
Oh, I know you do half the time.
Oh, it's
No,
got to be an Android thing.
I go with Eric on that. I mean, I actually stutter myself. I somewhat stutter sometimes. I did when I was younger. It happened as I got older, which is different than what it usually is. I think it's usually stutters tend to go away as you get older. Mine tends to get more pronounced. But I don't know. I think you could just keep from writing. There's very few times where I
Yeah.
just have to write.
Yeah.
You know.
I must write. But which makes me always think of as a little kid. My mom, I was fascinating. Whenever watching Hee Haw or the Porter Wagner show,
Oh,
Hee Haw, then Mel Tillis, the country star, could sing like a bird, but he couldn't speak because he had a massive stuttering issue.
Yeah, that's
So he
amazing.
could speak, but he could sing flawlessly. I always
Yeah,
found
I
that fascinating.
It was fascinating. Different areas of the brain.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Dennis, trying to imagine me doing play-by-play with the stutter. I mean, some people may think I sound better that way. I don't know.
Try. I would like to see his staff emails go out with written Tourette's.
I would say he wouldn't have to make many of them, and he probably wouldn't have a staff to write anymore.
Yeah, probably so.
Yes. Yes. But well, I hope that was enjoyable, ladies and gentlemen.
Certainly.
Definitely.
I'd
It's
be
given us
remiss
a
as
lot
well.
to think about.
All right. Let me see. Trying to click on a banner here. We need to put
Kick
up.
on me.
Yes.
Kick on me.
If you ever wonder what we're talking about when we use certain terms, which we've used tonight, check out our isms on our website.
Such as vomit.
Vomit. www.playbyyourpodcast.com. Right up there. All right.
I still-
Todd.
All right. So I knew tonight I had to either do a food topic, some Am I the Asshole, or a bracket. And I chose a bracket. So, since these brackets tend to take a while, I'll just jump right into it. This is a bracket of the best childhood toys.
Woohoo!
And
Bracket.
I did briefly explain to these guys as we were signing on. It's a, what would you call it, Eric? It's a generic. It's it doesn't get into the finite like types of. It's just
No, not brand names.
yeah,
just general
bike versus
toy names.
scooter, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Not like Huffy, BMX.
Green machine.
Green machine. What a
Big wheel.
All right, our first matchup,
hello,
gentlemen.
Jim.
Our first matchup is, it says N64, but let's just go with any Nintendo.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I never owned a 64, an N64. So Nintendo game console versus, that's the number one seed, by the way,
Oh,
versus fast food toys.
all right.
Again, fast food toys, any fast food toy. Not just
Let me just say, I've been envious of my chitlins for years. Because if I got the fast food toys that they got, I would be in seventh heaven. Whenever a Marvel
Seventh
movie
heaven.
comes out or something, there's these awesome, Transformers, Marvel toys, Star Wars toys.
Okay, can I ask a question here?
Sure.
Fast food toys, these are like the toys that come in a fast food meal, or are these toys that are like play restaurants and things?
We're not talking about the Fisher Price McDonald's, which I
Okay,
had.
all
yeah,
right,
this is excuse me. It's the
yeah.
actual toys you would have gotten in like a Happy Meal.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Like whenever a new Batman movie comes out, there's usually some kind of Batman paraphernalia in the joyous meal.
Yeah, every toy box in the country, the bottom of it is filled with different fast food toys.
Yes.
So that I don't think they hold on to attention very long.
No.
No.
And they're usually not very in depth. They're usually just molded without joint. Although there was, when one of the Transformer movies came out, there was a sweet Transformer that was in the Happy Meals. And that's why I said, it's like, daggone, I would have loved this.
So would it have rivaled an action figure that you would have had in your Ute?
Let me put it this way. It would not have rivaled my core action figures, but I would have been happy. It truly would have been a happy meal for me, because that would have given me enjoyment, and I would have brought it integrated into my action figure family.
Most Happy Meals, though, required an additional Happy Meal and then another Happy Meal. Like, a lot of them were like series. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would be like 5 figures or whatever.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
one with each. So you would have to
Yeah.
eat there multiple times to get the complete set.
Of course, by design, because you have to get the whole set.
Yeah.
But could you request certain toys? Or they were
Family
there
had
by,
them.
they were
Well,
there by the week, right?
no,
or
no, I
something
do.
like that?
Hang on a minute. I do remember being able to request certain ones. Let's say it was like I don't know, I just make up something here, like a Shirt Tails, something or another at Burger King. Well, like if you'd already gotten one Shirt Tail and they gave you the same
You
little
wouldn't
stuffed
got
Shirt
if you
Tail.
would have got Bogey the first week, you
Yeah.
would have got Pammy the Panda the second week.
But I do think, but they didn't like throw them all out once the week was over. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
at some point you could ask to trade in. I do remember doing that.
Now,
So would your dad have stopped the car and say, "Hey, Dad, I already got this one"?
No, not at
No.
all. No.
you'll have
I-
nothing and you'll like it.
Now, if we were talking Nintendo versus like some collector series glasses from fast food restaurants or something, now that would be a better matchup, I think. But I don't think that the fast food toys can hold a candle to the Nintendo.
No,
Now-
Nintendo.
I will say I was someone I know was pleasantly surprised at Cane's this holiday season, where you could request the certain Christmas Vacation Golden Retrievers.
Yeah.
So they had the Clark Griswold Golden Retriever and the cousin Eddie Golden Retriever, and as you went, they would let you request the one you didn't have. I might have heard that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you
Again,
heard.
for variety, I think I didn't realize that places were still doing a lot of that, though. I guess I haven't had kids getting that kind of. Does every fast food place have their own? Because back then, everyone had their own thing going. You know. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Are you stealing Randall's fast food toys, Brady?
no. During Christmas season, I have a golden retriever, and the golden retriever is kind of like the mascot of Cane's. So they had a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and they did up the golden retriever, like a small plush golden retriever in National Lampoon's Vacation. Like it was dressed to look like them, and I used the Clark Griswold Golden Retriever as my tree topper this year. And I also had the cousin Eddie in the aunt, the one that started singing the Star Spangled Banner. And what was her name? Not
was her
Aunt
name?
Edna.
Doris.
Yes, they had that one, but I did not get that one. So I have 2 of the 3.
So I wonder if they'll come back next year with that again. You need to
They
become
better.
And see, that's what always frustrated me about anything like a fast food restaurant was if you didn't have the complete collection, it just didn't seem quite as cool.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like an addictive thing for kids. You have to get the whole set.
Yeah.
Now my mom, when I worked at Camel Snot during college in the mall, and there used to be an Arby's in the mall, and they had this holiday glassware.
Yeah.
There were these real nice fancy glasses that had a gold rim at the top.
And they had the berries and
The holly and the ivy
holly,
kind
yeah.
of thing. And so like I would get, you were only allowed to have one at a time. So I would get one every day at work until I had the full set. So I had she had like 8 of them.
Yeah.
Don't put them in the microwave though, accidentally. That gold thing will cause them to spark.
Gotcha.
Savannah says Nintendo. Nikki says Nintendo. Jim says Nintendo. Fast food toys last as long as a preschooler's attention span. That is correct.
True.
It works out nicely. All right. I think we can agree that Nintendo takes that first matchup.
Yep.
Moving on to number 8 versus 9 seed. Now, number 8 says Knight's Castle, and it has just a picture of like a toy castle. So I think we should open this up to castle,
Play sets.
place, dollhouse.
no,
that
no.
type of
Action figure house. Watch your mouth.
You know what I mean? Like I think, of course, I think like Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain from He-Man, but
Any domicile for a action figure or doll.
It was
Well,
made
yeah,
action
yeah,
figure.
yeah. Well, action figures are coming up, so don't
Okay.
encompass action figures into this.
Gotcha.
It's just So I'm saying any type of playhouse
Okay.
Gotcha.
or water/Nerf guns.
Oh. No question.
But we didn't have it very good when it comes to the water guns growing up, though, guys. They were pretty poor.
Garden
They-
variety.
They were lame. They got
And-
much better as we
Yeah.
were
Super
beyond
soakers.
childhood.
And did you notice the triggers on those things? They literally only lasted like one go round.
Oh yeah. Have you ever got your finger meat caught in that in those cheap squirt guns? You would pull the trigger and it would pinch. It was awful.
Well, and it never failed. The little top part where the water trough was, you either lost it. It was always it had a little piece that went down in to try to keep it connected. But I always
Never
chewed
worked.
on those things, and they would get misshapen and then fall out.
That sounds like a disorder.
So then you had to make sure you kept your water pistol upright. And we only had pistols, by the way.
Yeah.
We didn't have long rifles.
Now
or
these
any-
water cannons
Yeah.
that just basically hook up to the water system has a tap that goes right into the pipe, and it could control a riot if need be.
You remember trying to turn the water on just enough to get enough of a stream just to
Oh yeah.
go in that little hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd end up blasting it, and then you'd have it all over yourself and the counter
'Cause
and
it-
get yelled at.
Because if you didn't, if the PSI was too much, you literally could hold it under there for 10 minutes and not get a drop of
Yeah,
water inside
right.
the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all running off
Man.
the side.
Now the Nerf guns, I want to like the Nerf guns are amazing, but I'm telling you, those things picked up power from the first iteration of Nerf guns. Man, I got shot by one of those a couple Christmases ago,
Leave a
and it
welt.
smarted. It was not Nerf as
Smarted.
like
Leave a welt.
Yeah. Even the Nerf gun game wasn't great when. I mean, I don't know when Nerf came out for you guys. If you were still Utes when it first came out. I mean, I remember like Nerf footballs and everything before I remember Nerf guns.
Nerf
yeah.
basketball hoop.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I chewed
Well,
up so many of my doors in the house.
So what's the word nerf? What does that signify? What is that
think
a
it does-
combination of some words or
Nerf
bet it-
herder.
I bet it does have something to do with the material it's made of or something.
I think it's the onomatopoeia of the sound it makes when it hits you.
I'm going Knight's Castle on this, or any type of castle, just because again, I'm going by my memory. When I got to go by when I was a kid, and the water guns were
Yeah.
pretty lame. And another thing is, and I know this is going to be this may be controversial,
Oh.
but nobody looked cool with a fluorescent lime green Nerf gun, or a water pistol, or a chartreuse water pistol. They would not, you know what I mean? They were not very again.
Realistic.
They weren't very realistic, and
Well,
I know
there's-
that opened, but
Yeah.
for as a kid, because I was a kid when they started coming out with like the kind of realistic looking toy guns that had the sound, and when you pull
Yeah.
the trigger, and like the Rambo plastic sets and stuff like that. So like a
you-
a
Do you remember when
clear
airsoft
water
guns came
pistol.
out?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Where they just like fired a plastic pellet,
yeah.
like a plastic round thing that never hurt. But dang it, those were frustrating because, well, at band practice, one of SJ's sons, when they were youths, had those laying around. And we'd just get to playing around with those in the basement. And it'd be like BBs in a can, man. But you couldn't corral them once they were shot
Yeah.
because they would roll around and they would roll under everything. At least a Nerf dart, it could be retrieving. But those little round things, that was terrible.
Do you remember not the Nerf, but the guns that had the about yay big a suction cup dart?
which never
Oh,
stuck to anything.
Don't even get you
Well,
started.
you had to
on my
lick it.
Spider-Man web shooter.
You had to
You
lick it, and then
Still
the gun
didn't work.
the guns had you had to cock it back, and then you stuck the dart in the end of it, and then
Yeah.
that's what shot it out. Remember the hard plastic part of the dart had like a little notch. It was like grooved on the back, and that's how it slid in there.
And,
Well-
and you had to be exactly 10 3/4 inches away from wherever you're because if you were 11 inches, it wouldn't stick. If you were
Yeah.
too close, it just pop
Bounce.
off.
It had to be something that everything stuck to anyway. Like that's the only way it would cling to anything.
Yeah.
It was no wacky wall walker, that's for sure. Those things stuck to everything. Remember those?
Oh yeah. Then
So I'm
all
going. I'm going castle. I'm going like playhouse castle.
now, Todd, this just struck me. Is it a castle play thing for small things, or was it like a full size playhouse?
No,
to
it's not
get
like
in?
it's not like the little
Okay.
tykes or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like a four figure.
I gotcha.
But it's
a knight's castle.
more versatile. You could
Yeah.
All right. Nikki said, yes, the Arby's glasses. My family had the whole set as well. As far as votes on this, Savannah says water Nerf gun. Dennis says water Nerf guns. Jim says Nerf gun, best Christmas ever. We all got Nerf guns. Had Nerf gun war. And Karen did a little research for us.
Oh.
Nerf, non-expanding recreational foam.
I call
Foam.
a pox on that because when I squeeze that and I let go, it's going to expand.
So you're saying fresh squoze Nerf?
If it's been squozing, it'll go down, and when it's unsquozing, it will expand.
But I don't
But-
think it ever expands out past its original girth.
If you take its epidermis off and it gets wet, have you ever had a skinned Nerf football get wet and you dislocate your shoulder
things
because
were
you didn't
too-
realize?
They were so tempting not to just dig your fingers in, and if you once they were skinned, you know what I mean. Once they got the
Oh,
pock
yeah.
marks, you just couldn't keep from it.
Oh yeah, it'd just be like a dog with a chew toy. I'd bite the heck out of that thing, just like you know.
Yeah, everybody's tried to tape up a skinned Nerf football before, and
Oh yeah.
Failed miserably.
Which don't get me confused. Remember the aerodynamic Nerf footballs that had like the foot?
the grooves.
Yeah, the handle on it like a dart, like a jart.
Well, no,
end.
I don't. You talking about the one with the big handle at the end? There was nothing
Yeah.
like a football. Yeah, I don't
Looked
like
more like a
those.
bomb or a missile.
Yeah.
Man, I look like Joe Burrow tossing those things. Man, I could drop a dime from 100 yards with that thing.
Yeah, but there's nothing realistic about that, and catching it was terrible. I mean, like, but I thought you meant just the ones that were still football shaped, but
they
they
were
had the
spiral.
grooves. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you would throw them through the air, you could hear him going as it's going through the air. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your votes? I think water Nerf gun is going to win. Had most of the
Yeah.
audience
Water
votes.
Nerf gun.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on, the 5 and 12 matchup.
the
Action
difficult
figures. Just any action figures. He-Man, G.I. Joe,
Star Wars.
Star Wars versus bicycle.
Oh, that's not fair.
Which one's a 5? Which one's a 12?
The action figures are 5. Bicycle is 12.
Bicycle.
See, Eric, I knew you were going to say that. I mean, I loved my bike as much as anybody growing up. But on a rainy day, you can't reenact the Death Star blowing up.
You're right. And action figures you could take your action figures with you on your bike. You couldn't bring your bike to play with your action figures.
That's true.
I was never much into action figures.
Yeah. Well, you weren't into you weren't into the shows that they derive from. That's the thing that you weren't into Star Wars, and
No.
so I think that played a lot. It had a lot to do with it. I'm the same way. I was an action figure obsessed Ute. So I'm
I
going
was
action
too.
figure.
I always cracked up, and we've made reference to this before, but like with clothing, like Batman spelled with 2 N's. But I always cracked up at the off-brand action figures, like G.I. Joseph and or Star Force,
Yeah.
the Transfigurations.
But a bicycle signified freedom. I like Dennis Hopper and Easy Rider, man. It's like,
Yeah. You're right.
you
you're
lived in
right.
town, man. You'd bike all over the place.
Well, I was
Oh,
getting ready
yeah,
to say, I think demographics played I think where you live, location is key there.
Yeah.
Eric was urban,
Yeah.
so he would ride his
Eric's from
around.
the streets.
He's from the streets of downtown,
Mean
not from the
streets of
suburbs.
Sardinia.
Well, I mean, I rode my bike. I lived on a pretty decent road to ride a bike on. So I definitely got some wear and tear of my bike, but I still think I was and the thing about bikes was you got a bike and then you were satisfied until you grew out of that bike, or like you wanted to get rid of your nanner seat and get an actual cool seat. Because my first bike had a red sparkly nanner seat.
Mine too.
About 78 inches long. I mean, you couldn't have fallen off if you'd have tried. You could lay down fully and still stay on the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think puberty renders those seats null and void.
No, I disagree because the nanner seat was much easier than the testicular toozers. That those, that was just basically
I
like
agree.
trying to rest your anus on top of a metal pole.
Because the banana seat housed everything you had at
Yeah.
the time. I mean, there
It
was nothing.
distributed the torque.
Yeah.
the banana seat with the big long backrest. Thing.
I didn't have a backrest like
Oh,
that, but I
was
know
for
what you're
lame
talking
people.
about.
You had to have a
Perfect to hang
10-inch bike flag.
It's perfect. Yeah, I was going to say perfect to hang a
purpose.
flag off of. But what I was saying though is other than that, there weren't a whole lot of steps as far as getting bikes. To where with figures, it was like you started collecting, and then you had to get all of them, and then they would come out with new ones, and then you had different teams and things
The
like that. So
vehicles, the play sets,
yeah, it became a little more, I think, of a
passion.
passion or collection type thing. What's the audience say? Are they voting, Eric?
We've got 2 bikes.
Yeah, I got 2 bikes.
So far,
Anybody else? Bikes or action figures, audience?
I mean, I'm firmly team action figure.
that's the way I think we have. Man, I
says
think bike's
bike.
going to win.
I could throw Stinkor on my banana seat and drive to.
That's right. Let's see Fistor get around on that bicycle with his big, clumsy
Big.
fist.
Fist.
So bike's won, right?
Yeah,
think-
Nikki says bike as well.
Okay. All right.
Now, Nikki grew up on an island, so up in the Lake Erie area. So she grew up on an island, I believe, right, Nikki? So I
No.
bet there was a lot of good biking. A lot less traffic on that. I could be wrong. I could be misspeaking.
That'd probably be the main mode of transportation on
Yeah.
a place like that.
And golf Garrett's.
Yes.
Gears. Number 4 versus 13 matchup.
Yes.
Number 4, trampoline
Ooh.
versus this one cracks me up for whatever reason. Pediatrician's office
What?
wire block toy.
What?
Oh,
You know the
good.
wire
I
block
know.
toy at every pediatrician's. I think every
Where you
office
started
has that.
one and it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It has the balls and the squares and the
Lame.
rectangles.
nobody that played that had.
Hey, this is a 16 seed tournament and that made 13. I mean, what's worse than that?
Fast food toys was 16.
Oh,
Yeah. But I got to be honest with you.
bovine feces.
I never had a trampoline. And I don't think trampolines got real big until after I had grown up. Or we had one of those little tiny workout trampolines, the exercise trampolines.
That they was always a prize on The Prize is Right, and it would show them jogging.
Yeah, along with a goldenrod dishwasher and fridge.
And a waterbed.
Wheat, not gold. Is it wheat or goldenrod? What was the color? It was
Both.
real popular back then.
Great.
Then you had the greenish color. What was that? Was that considered like
My uncle Dwight
Avocado
called it
or-
future green.
guacamole?
Future green.
Whack-a-mole. Okay, so my well advertised aversion to putting my anus above my head renders a trampoline
Yeah,
Not necessarily. You don't
not-
have to
not-
do flips on it.
yeah, but
but you also could. You don't have much control. You could accidentally. What's worse than purposefully putting your ass above your head, Eric, is accidentally.
yeah. If
Yeah.
you knew it
Well-
was coming, that's one thing, but yeah.
And Karen, I agree. Randolyn had a small fracture from a trampoline accident. She didn't fall off of it, but she was coming down as her brother was going up, and the surface of the trampoline reached her foot at an unnatural speed. So yeah. Now what I would have done, and this would have been me, and you know where I'm going with this. It would have been my wrestling ring cage match thing.
Oh yeah. Well, especially if you had one of the ones that had the sides on it,
Oh yeah.
which they didn't have those when we were younger. You just
No,
fell
you
off
just
of it
fell
and
off.
ran a tree branch through your spleen.
Puddle.
Sorry, Eric. We didn't have the safety nets, did we?
No. In fact, Eric can vouch for this. We were so excited as freshmen going into Eastern High School because trampolining was part of PE until we got up there.
Till we got there.
Because the year before us, a friend of ours named Philip had broken his arm on the trampoline. Now, see, that trampoline just looked like a death trap because it wasn't a full, like, sheer surface. It looked like lawn chairs that were woven, like
Yeah.
cross-stitched like that. So there's
Like-
all kind of places that you could fall through.
Yeah, like your foot could go through the
Oh,
the
you
cover.
could do the Looney Tunes thing where both feet would go through, and then your cranial area would be up by your chin.
So was it on a frame or did just like people hold it out like
It
like the
folded.
parachute?
It folded like a cafeteria table, and then
Oh,
they
okay.
would bring it out, and it would unfold and be on wheels. So
Was it
not only
squaw?
was it mesh, it was squaw. And not
It was
only was it
moving.
mesh, but it was on wheels.
It's moving.
Yeah.
See you trying to play
Dangerous.
steal the bacon on that bad boy.
Steal the bacon.
Oh yeah.
All
I
right,
love that
um,
game.
We've talked about this, but does your schools still do the a parachute?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
Not
I
in
walked
high
by
school.
I walked
North
by the
Adams
gym.
Elementary. Yeah.
I walked by the gym. I think it was last year one day, and they had the parachute broken out, so it's still going strong. The parachute looked much better than the one that we had back in Sardinia. That thing was that was like the first parachute. I think it was like,
that thing came down in Normandy. Like it was
complete with
rescued.
bullet holes.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now I'm not too proud to admit that one of my first couple years at North Adams Elementary, when they broke out the parachute during my planning period, I may or may not have gone in and joined in the fun.
Oh yeah, you got to. Well, the best move. Everybody loved the parachute where you flop it up, get it real nice and dome-like, and then everybody gets inside the parachute, pulls it down over them,
Right.
and everybody's inside it, but it's still bulbous.
It is
and
still domed
Yeah.
until the kid next to you flatulates and had to Dutch oven everybody in the parachute.
So, steal the bacon was with the parachute, right?
No, steal the bacon is when there was a bean bag put on
In the parachute.
No. Well, I'm not saying the steal the bacon that I played.
Because we used Frejoli sacks with the parachute as well. We would put bean bags inside, and then we'd flop them around.
Well, that's popcorn. The steal the bacon is where you put the bean bag on the half court line, and you have a line on the baseline, and then you call out number 3, and the threes from each line run to grab the bean bag. If you can get the bean bag and run it back to your line without getting tagged, you have successfully pilfered the pork. But if you get tagged, it goes back in the middle.
So wonder why it was called steal the bacon, not just like steal the bean or something. I mean, since it was a bean bag.
Because everybody likes bacon, wants to steal it. Not everybody likes beans.
Not to be confused with crab soccer.
Have some.
What soccer?
Crab soccer.
Oh, I thought you said crap soccer.
No, crab soccer was
Crab
where you
soccer.
had to crab walk. You had to be
Lord.
you had to be in crab position, and then you could only use your feet, like any soccer game, I guess.
Couldn't
But
use your pincers.
but you didn't have pincers. Your pincers were used for travel.
I
but-
could only imagine being prone in the crab position that a ball, you would leave yourself wide open to get racked
Yeah,
like
you
a
had-
pool table.
You had to watch that, and then also I just had the memory of remember the little scooters,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
and there was a game we
phalange-
played with that.
The
You run over
phalange
fingers.
flare.
Yeah, you'd run
Yeah.
over your fingers.
Oh,
So-
that's those metal wheels. God.
Let's open this up to instead of just the pediatrician office wire block toy, how about any toy that you remember from a doctor's office?
The Fisher Price where you had the wooden hammer and you just had to hammer the pegs in.
Yeah. Right.
I like the old the little magnetic mustache guy that you had to like draw.
Oh,
the-
yeah.
you know what I'm
They had,
talking about.
like,
You
a
had
bunch of
the
iron filings and
Yeah.
you
With
give
the
him a Fu
shavings,
Manchu.
yeah, classic.
So- So Karen brings up a good point here now that not only are the toys lame, but you got sick kids playing with these toys.
Hey,
So it's like,
And that was before days of hand sanitizer and stuff.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
and you know what else it was? Nothing. And I still have an attitude about this magazine today. They couldn't get you any good comic book or a Ranger Rick. No, they had highlights in there.
I'll argue with it. I like highlights, Brady.
Oh.
The hidden picture. You know what? You know what a good day. You know what could erase the sting of having to go to the doctor or the dentist is when you
Batman detective
is
stories.
when you peel back a highlights and it was all done. It had been written in every page, but the hidden picture was still pristine and clean. And you asked mom for an ink pen and you went to town. That was great.
You know what else I hate about highlights? You open it up, then you have to call 911 because all the subscription cards, all 90 of them that was wedged in that 5-page thing, would fall out and it would be up to your chin.
You didn't like the hidden picture though. I can't say enough about the.
No,
hidden
I
picture.
couldn't get past the first 2 pages. It was full of lameness. I'm sorry. I don't mean to burst him, but like I would like to know. I would like to see an old highlights and wonder why I was so averse to him. If I even seen the logo highlights, I'd go pass.
See, we still do. We still get highlights. We use the hidden picture things all the time with our kids. They love them.
so you like Ranger Rick, Brady?
Ranger Rick was awesome because I learned about obscure animals.
So, but here's the thing. You're right. The doctor's office toys were definitely booger infested. They had lots of boogers on them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
trampolines aren't like they're not like the most sanitary things.
Oh
ever.
yeah, you could get the ringworms off the of the trampoline. Absolutely.
I have to go pediatrician toy only because I never played on a trampoline when I was younger.
But you can imagine. You can imagine how fun it is leaping and as like opposed to ooh the wire. Where's this gonna go?
Yeah, but again, I love the Etch-a-Sketch, I love the Etch-a-Sketch and the mustache, the magnet mustache man.
Yeah.
Okay, Etch-a-Sketch. You see these commercials with all these pictures drawn on them that have like curved lines. You can't make a curved line with an Etch-a-Sketch.
It was a wonderful day when I finally learned to do a curved line, but then
But it
you
was
can't
one.
break the line. Yeah, it's got to be a running line. You can't like make eyebrow arches and then go back to the eyeball. No, it like has to wander all the way across the picture.
I just remembered another art-based
Joey.
the not the mustache man, not the magnet mustache man, not the Etch-a-Sketch,
Joey.
but the where you had I think it was magnetized as well, but you drew on it, and then it had the slider that erased it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, there's a real old school ones where like it was a film paper that after you were done, you'd go and it would like
It
it
had
would
like
erase
it had the waxy stuff in the back. You could scrape your nail. It was the same consistency as the tables over at the Georgetown Gold Star. You get enough fingernail funk to feed a family of 4.
Those are facts.
That
Those are facts.
That is true.
I think there was I think there was more hot dog material on those tables than there was on the buns when you ordered the conies.
Gosh.
Joey says, "Welcome back, Tom."
Thank you, Joey.
Joseph, how we doing, man? Magna Doodle.
Magna
That's
So that's when they mix a poodle with a magnet. Yeah, sorry.
So what's your vote, fellas?
I would say trampoline merely because, again, the toys
Yeah.
are lame.
I'm
Lame.
going with trampoline.
We're going tramp. I assume if anybody's voting, they're voting tramp.
Karen didn't vote. She just said she can't say trampoline, but then the pediatrician office's toys are disgusting.
Yeah.
Savannah said trampoline. Anybody else? Trampoline or
Everybody's.
Peds office toys?
You know what? Somebody could corner the market. Somebody could poach all the patients. If I was a new pediatrician opening up my office, I would hit up Amazon and Walmart and get good toys. And then people would be like, oh, he's got highlights and a wire block. And I'm going to have Castle Grayskull and Evelyn in my...
I've never seen so much highlight hatred in my life, Brady.
Oh, there's got to be a reason. Like I said, I got to examine this because
Yeah.
this is carried. I want to know why I hated it so
You
much.
might
Like,
love them now if you were to.
I might.
All right. So I put down tramp. I think trampoline takes it.
Buy highlights for Randolin and see
There you
what
go.
she thinks of it.
Yeah. And save all the find the pictures for me. I'll take those off your hands. All right, guys. Next side of the bracket. We'll get through the first round here at least. Number 3 seed Game Boy versus number 14 Razor Scooter.
Didn't even exist when we were young.
Iterations of it.
Yeah.
It was the old-fashioned scooter where the Razor scooter was a smaller version of it. There was less metal, less materials, but the good old-fashioned kind of scooters, they've kind of made it a little bit of a comeback that are electric powered, and they're like urban transport, like, I was not a huge video gamer, but I did enjoy scootering. But scooters were kind of limited in that high center of gravity. You were always just one breath away from impaling yourself. So I'm going to go Game Boy.
The scooters I remember were the ones that were basically like skateboards with a handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was not big on toys where you could break your full neck if you weren't careful. But I never owned a Game Boy. So this is a tough one for me. I never owned.
Because you had a game man.
I never owned either, but I would say, much like the Nintendo, where the fast food toys couldn't compete with the Nintendo, I don't think Razor Scooter could compete with a Game Boy.
No, I don't think so either.
Because that was the first handheld video, right? I mean, the Game
well,
Boy.
Well, I mean, you had like the handheld baseball and football games with the
Yeah.
little blips.
from Tascam.
I love
Yeah.
the football ones.
Love those.
Yeah.
Love those.
I had a Radio Shack version of Space Invaders, but like where it had the wee little joystick and a red button, and there was only 3 rows. I loved it on Christmas Day. I mean, I was over the moon, but dang, that got old after one day because it was very limited.
Do you remember the little toys that were filled with fluid or liquid of some
Fluid.
sort, and they had like basketball ones, but anyway, you had the little trigger thing that pushed that
Yeah.
Where
Just
you had
like-
to get the rings on
like
the
just-
little.
just
Like
a little
those
breath
two.
that pushed a zephyr, if you will, that pushed the ball up, and then you had to try to get it in the ring or the hoop.
Those
were
could
annoying.
hold my attention for hours.
Oh, I call them frustration games. There was no end to it. It was infinite disappointment because you couldn't do them all.
Well,
It was impossible.
and there was no matter how hard you hit the trigger, it's still just the ball just. I mean, the ball never had
That's
any like.
exactly what it did, dude.
Yeah, it never
I
had
knew
any
exactly
ass.
what you mean.
We
It's like-
drove to Florida one year. I'll bet I played one of those ring games 3/4 of the way to Florida.
Oh, and you had a thumb the size of Hulk Hogan because, like, you push out the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
And then somehow, over time, the liquid dissipated. I don't know where it went.
Evaporation, but
Like,
you could think it was sealed.
Yeah,
I
but
had them where you put your own water in.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
See, I never knew if it was water or like a gel, like like the stuff on Vienna sausages or something. Just a clearish substance.
the
Uncooked
viscous
Vienna
fluid.
sausage.
Ugh.
I would say Game Boy because
Yeah.
I just don't think much of a scooter. Although Joey says I need to be on a Razor scooter for this show. Have to be a heavy duty Razor scooter, Joey.
I don't like anything. I'm not an adventurer.
Like a Pope Mobile Razor scooter.
Well, here at Lake Winoka, I see adults all the time on those real, like the kind you see in Cincinnati that you can rent. I'm going to call them high-end electric scooters. They have a little bit more width and fatter tires.
Yeah.
And the way it's arranged, it's not quite as disintegrate. You're not leaning forward like you're going to fall on your face. It's got much more proportional,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been on a Segway.
Segway.
I've always wanted to be on a Segway. I've never tried
Hey,
one.
those things look dangerous. They
They
look like
do.
you're gonna fall on
Well, they
your
can't
face.
tip. It's a gyroscope.
Yeah, but you could fall. You could tip.
That's true.
It could jerk you back, and you could fall backwards and crack your head, or you could fall forward and stove
your face.
yourself. Yeah.
Savannah says Game Boy. Joey says he had a Game Boy Color, so that's his vote. Never had a scooter. Jim never had a scooter, but had a skateboard, so that's his vote.
I think Game Boy takes it.
Game Boy.
Savannah says there's one Mario game on Game Boy you can't find anywhere. What's that called?
Interesting.
Mario Game Boy.
You
All
vote?
right. Number 6 versus 11. Number 6, Matchbox / Hot Wheels. First off, there was no comparison between Matchbox and Hot Wheels, so we're just going to say Hot Wheels versus Eric. You might need to pull a picture up here. The Cozy Coupe.
What?
Cozy Coupe.
You don't even, I bet I know what it is.
What?
I bet it's red. It's a car and it has a big old yellow.
Yep, the Cozy Coupe. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think Cozy Coupes were around when I was a kid. So
What? Eric,
gotta-
you're laughing.
you got a pick of the coupe.
Yeah, I got it.
It had big old stupid eyes on it, didn't it? Or, like,
I don't remember eyes. I just remember it being red with a yellow top. And if you had a good one, you had doors that opened on the side. You didn't have to get in Dukes of Hazzard style.
there, it's eyes. It's got
There, it
eyes.
does have eyes.
Look at those sorry ass shocks or whatever the
Got
wheels are on
eyes.
this.
Oh my gosh.
Got eyes. Look at those eyes.
That's a happy gear.
$54 for a Cozy Coupe.
Yeah. I bet it cost $54 back then.
Probably did.
I
That one
bet
has.
it did.
That one does have openable doors, I believe.
Yeah, that's now.
It can't
Is
be
there a
Dukes of
convertible
Hazzarding
model?
the Cozy Coupe.
What's so cozy about that coupe?
Oh, it's
Have you ever
damn
tried to
cozy.
squeeze two people in there?
So damn cozy. I could have never gotten into it.
I mean,
Try to get your lady on a play date at the preschool. Go park it in the cozy coop. Share a juice box.
so I don't even think this is even close. I'm going Hot Wheels over the cozy
Yeah.
coupe all day long.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
I had one Matchbox that I loved. I did have a few Hot Wheels, but it was gifted to me in kindergarten on gift exchange day. And I know this does sound weird. It was just a typical Matchbox size, but it was a hovercraft, like the kind that they used to cross the English Channel on, like
There-
commercial hovercraft.
There is no British piece of crap Matchbox car that will hold a candle to a Hot Wheel.
No, but that was the only one I liked, is what I'm saying.
Matchbox to a Hot Wheel is akin to treat to spam. It is the
It is akin to GoBots to Transformers.
and here's the didn't we do that? I know we had an episode we've talked about this. Didn't we figure out the Matchbox was first? I think
Yeah,
I think Hot
Matchbox
Wheels was
first.
yeah.
Yeah, but Hot Wheels was second, but much higher quality.
Definitely.
And
Oh,
you
so
could
they-
get a match or a Hot Wheels car for $1 back in the day, and they're still $1.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever get? I only had one, and it was the Hot Wheels track where you have to get the rubber band and it launches the car, and you put it in there and it launched it, and it would do a 360 loop and go out the other side.
Yeah.
You had to put the track together. You could flail the tar out of somebody with a piece of track.
Oh, gee.
And but what was always crappy was if you put a Matchbox car and a Hot Wheel launcher, it would not. It would go like 1/4 of the way up that loop, and it would just die.
Yep.
Anyway,
Cheap.
Yes.
Cheap.
Nikki
Nikki
says
saying
Hot Wheels.
Wheels.
Savannah says Hot Wheels. Dennis says based on sons and grandsons, Hot Wheels. Jim says Hot Wheels. I think Hot Wheels.
it's anonymous.
Do you think there will ever be do you think there will ever be a time where Hot Wheels are not enjoyed?
I think.
I mean, you're going to have collectors, but I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
just as a toy, as a keep you occupied. There was so much you could do with them, inside, outside. I used to take hammers to my Hot Wheels and build like little junkyards and stuff. Have like smashed cars.
Oh, I would have gotten in trouble for that.
Oh, I did get in trouble before it, but I still would do it. It just again, and here's the thing: you couldn't hammer a Matchbox car. One bop with the hammer, and that thing would fly into 1,000 pieces. A Hot Wheel
Yeah.
would take a good
Yeah.
hammering.
I had a like flower beds beside my house that didn't have any flowers in them, but made like Dukes of Hazzard dirt roads. And
Oh, yeah.
Hot Wheels.
The whole community.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you have rocks that would delineate Hazard County to Sweetwater County, and you would have to get across the rocks to escape the sheriff? Yeah.
Oh
Here's
yeah.
what su-
Oh,
Here's
yeah.
what
I
sucked.
might have
though.
heard about that.
Here's
Yeah.
what sucked. There were no figures, no men that went with Hot Wheels because first off, they'd have been too tiny to even.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they'd have been like sea monkeys. I mean, they just. But
Yeah.
so you had to use like army men and stuff with them, which threw off the whole. You know what I mean? Like when the army men were taller than your Hot Wheels, but you had to
Yeah.
make do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
that was the only thing I didn't like. They should have come out with some miniature men that you could just like have sitting on your Hot Wheel or even standing next to your Hot Wheel or something that was comparable in size.
Yeah.
But Hot Wheels stayed in their lane. They didn't get into action figures. That's a whole different
True.
genre.
I have 2 Hot Wheels. No, actually,
Two
I'm
Hot
gonna have to
Wheel.
look. Hot's Wheel. I don't. I don't think my Millennium Falcon and Tie Fighter. I don't think they were Star Wars brand, but I have 2 Miami Vice Hot Wheels. I have each Ferrari still in the packaging
Nice.
in my music room
Nice.
by my signed pilot script by Don Johnson.
All right, so Hot Wheels takes that. We have 2 more matchups in this first round. Then we'll call it a night with this category. But Wiffles Ball versus Play-Doh.
Ooh. Ooh. That's What are the seeds on this?
7 wiffle ball is 7, Play-Doh is 10.
Dang. Underseeded, both of them.
Agreed.
Now, we are talking about the yellow wiffle ball bat.
It even has a picture of you remember how you bought it with the bat and the ball had like the cardboard packaging at the top of the bat and the ball was in it? Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect packaging.
Oh, gosh, yeah. See, there was nothing more like, okay, I'm going to steal the thunder of Ricky Cobb again from Super 70 Sports. The awkward conversation when you ever played a pickup game of wiffle ball, there was that one kid that you had to give him the big red bat.
Oh, yeah.
Or else it ain't leaving the infield.
Right.
Well, Eric and I have talked about this. The only thing about just the basic set, the introduction model of the wiffle ball bat and ball combo was they were useless as you got older. You had to start applying tape.
Yep. Right.
And you had to tape the bat and the ball
Yes.
to where pretty much you might as well have been using an actual bat and a ball because it got that hard.
Yep.
But here, Eric, I remember this. We were playing in a softball tournament one year, and it rained it out.
Yeah.
And we ended up back at the Lions Club, and we just played like a game of wiffle ball. To me, that answers that question. We didn't play a game of Play-Doh. We didn't go back to the Lions Club and play with Play-Doh.
Wiffle ball spans generations.
Yes.
One of my greatest moments. I just and I'm not even being funny like and overstating this. One of my most satisfying moments is when the band we were playing at the Miami Boat Club, and they have a wiffle ball field that's set up to look like Crosley Field. It's kind of got a green monster in it and everything. Yeah. It's like a perfect replica. So I got to take a couple cuts, and I jacked one, off the wall. It made it all the way to the wall and bounced off. And that was amazing.
And I don't think they tape them up in that tournament they play there. I don't know.
Standard issue.
Okay, so now again to qualify this, I'm glad you said the packaging of the wiffle ball. You can't have the solid plastic wiffle ball that dents when you hit it, and you can't get the dent out of it. And if you do, it's got a crease in it. Know.
Yeah.
Now
absolutely not.
But now you could tape that one up as well and do some good. Now that one stung. That one hurt when it hit you.
You get hit by a line drive, or on a standard issue wiffle ball, and I still stand behind it. I'm going to say a name here, and I rarely do. Rodney Jones, if you're out there.
So Rodney last week
had the most wicked, pure, and amazing wiffle ball curveball. That thing would cut 6 feet off he looked like he was throwing it to the house next door, and it would cut back and right over the plate and make you look like a fool.
Definitely. Rodney was a master of that.
Yeah, I just realized something, though. I didn't really think about it, but the wiffle balls with the slots cut out, well, they would have floated.
Yeah.
So it would have been impossible. You wouldn't have lost one in water, where the regular wiffle ball or any other ball would sink to the bottom.
Right.
Just realized that.
So have you ever had to slum it up and play with the giant Flintstone bat?
Yeah.
In the big old ball?
That's terrible.
The sound it made when it hit the ball. Well, because that one came with, that one came, it sounded like a pond with bullfrogs around it whenever you hit it. But that one had a bigger ball. That one had like a softball-sized wiffle ball. Yeah. It was solid.
It looked like the moon coming toward you. I mean, that you couldn't miss that.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
That
bat would get dent. That bat would dent. The yellow bat, it could get run over by and it often did. It could get run over by a car, and you could usually work out the dings.
Yeah,
and it'd be okay.
And a wiffle ball bat, in theory, could also be used to put a bottle rocket in the hole and be launched out of a sunroof. In theory, with report.
So I've heard.
And that said wiffle ball bat could go missing for 2 years and, in theory, be found at a Lake Winoka parking lot inexplicably 2 years later with the same burn marks at the end of that theoretical
and there's
handle.
Nothing else in the world that color. That, you know what I mean? That color of yellow,
You need
I would like to have a room, a whole room that
Oh,
the
and
wiffle
it's
ball
going to be called
bat
Wiffle
yellow.
Ball Bat Yellow.
you'd never sleep in that room.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. There was a third type of ball. There was the waffle ball. That was
What?
basically
Oh,
just
yeah, with the little all the.
Then you could only
holes
play at
the way-
3 a.m. when you're
the whole-
intoxicated.
no, it had the holes everywhere. It was like a
Yeah.
Swiss cheese ball.
Oh, yeah. Now
That
that
was
thing
lame
was
too.
interesting. I could knuckleball one of those things like nobody's business. The Swiss cheese ball, man, I could get some crazy movement on a knuckleball.
Well,
with
but
those.
if you weren't careful, a pinky would slip into one of those.
Oh,
and you-
yeah.
Right.
yeah,
And sometimes that thing would crack on one of those holes, and you have
Oh,
a little
yeah.
shard of
and you get
plastic.
pinched on the hand.
yeah.
You'd
Not
catch it,
good.
you'd free-handed try to catch it, and it's just like a snapping turtle. It would hit your hand and just pinch the meat of your hand.
you got to call a ghost man to run for you because you're hurt, you're injured.
Yeah,
Ghost man on first.
and was anybody? And we discussed this before. The greatest thing about one of the greatest things about Brown County Fair was I did not like to play the carnival games, except the ones where I could pop a balloon to get a batting helmet.
Yeah, where you couldn't miss a balloon if you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I tried to do was like I had my favorites. Of course, I would get the Reds. Of course, my Expos and my Dale Murphy era Atlanta Braves one. My Expos one was the Crown Jewel, but then I would get
We're talking
a
Gary
couple-
Carter. Gary Carter
Carter.
Expos.
Tim Raines,
Ring.
Andre Dawson,
Warren Cromartie.
absolutely Rick Mundy. But
He was on the Dodgers. He didn't play.
but
Andre
he-
Dawson.
yes, Andre
on-
Dawson started at the Cubs, but ended up at
No, he started.
no,
the
started at the
Expos.
Expos, went to the Cubs.
Yeah.
But well, we're geeking out here. But I always got a Pittsburgh Pirates hat, and I always wait a minute, and I always got a Cubs hat. And if people were
Shucks.
invited to play at my house, and I would give them that because I didn't like the teams. So the
Nice.
guest would get the two that I like beating the heck out of. So make them wear the Pirates and the Cubs while I sported my Expos or Reds or Dodgers.
Is the whole concept of a ghostman, is that still a thing? Like when kids play?
Do kids play pickup wiffle ball?
I don't know. Here's how creative we were though. I can remember many a nights with especially my cousin Ricky. We one-on-one baseball. I bet you couldn't convince kids to play two kids to play a game of one-on-one wiffle ball or one-on-one baseball if you tried now. Of course, I guess back then you kind of needed to because you had off season, like
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, like you.
By the
And
way,
on-
Brady.
Yes.
By the way, no self-respecting Reds fan could be a Dodgers fan,
Okay.
particularly in that era.
I knew you were going to get in Eric's crawl with this one.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I did, even though it was a rivalry later, yeah. But I was really attached because they always beat the Yankees. Steve Garvey, Ron Say, Davey Lopes, Don Sutton,
Say
Ron Say, the
Penguin.
Penguin. I was attached to that team. That was the team.
Steve
Not as good as
Yeager.
Big Red Machine, but yeah,
All right. I think
that was some geeking out.
And
Sorry.
there seems to be some gender-based voting here with the Play-Doh and wiffle ball because Savannah says Play-Doh, Nikki says Play-Doh. Now Riker says wiffle ball. Jim says wiffle ball. Dennis voted both Play-Doh till the kids got
Now-
to baseball age and wiffle ball.
I loved Play-Doh. I did. But what was even better than Play-Doh? Although my mom hated it because is when you actually got the modeling clay that came in the briquettes, but those are great because man, you could mold them to anything, but they were grease based and they would get on the furniture
yeah.
and it would make her unhappy.
I
Or it would leave residue on the table.
if I could
Yeah.
take the smell from Play-Doh and
Oh,
play a
what
game of wiffle ball with that in the air, I love the smell of Play-Doh.
Play-Doh did have a great smell. Didn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, don't you hate it when you
I mean, Play-Doh was damn near edible. Like it almost you wanted to eat it. It might have been edible. I don't know if it would hurt you or not.
oh gosh. I'm gonna go ahead and tell this story.
Here we go.
And I don't think you guys have ever heard this before. It scars me, so I probably suppress this in my memory. But my neighbors across the street, I would go over there and play. One of my other best friends growing up, it was his grandparents, and we would play a lot over there. Well, I reached down to what I thought was white Play-Doh.
Play no.
And it was the Basset Hound Ralph, his dog dough, that had turned white.
How long did it take you to realize that?
2 seconds. And I made a beeline for their pond and stuck my hand in that pond water, which can be argued what's worse, pond water or dog dew.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going with there's nothing worse than accidentally touching some good old lawn snow caps.
But the thing, the thing is, don't you hate it? It was always the white Play-Doh. Unbeknownst to you, you would open it up where you thought it was fully sealed, and you open it up, and it's like just a jar of caulk because it had all dried up, and it was always the white that did that.
Yeah.
I would like to know the scientific reason behind that.
What was y'all's favorite color of Play-Doh?
Red.
Red.
Blue or red?
I think I like yellow.
Play-Doh had a great smell too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like yellow. I think yellow Play-Doh was maybe I like the wiffle ball bat, yellow Play-Doh. Maybe I just
My only gripe with yellow, it seemed to stay. It would jaundice the other colors. If you
and it would take on the other obviously it would take on the other colors
yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
it was the most fragile of Play-Dohs.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
so what are we saying on that? What do we
Wiffle
think?
ball.
Wiffle ball. Yes.
Wiffle ball.
Last matchup for round one, we are talking about PS2, but I'm going to go ahead and just say any PlayStation, kind of how we did Nintendo, versus, I believe it was, oh crap, Legos. PlayStation versus Legos. This is by the way, this is interesting to me. Legos is a number 2 seed.
Yeah.
PlayStation is a 15 seed.
Ooh.
So do you think the people that made this are saying because the PlayStation wasn't first that it doesn't deserve that high seed? Because then remember Nintendo was a 1 seed.
Right.
Well, but Legos is for gosh sakes, over Christmas break, I went to Legoland in San Diego, and it's a theme park where everything is Lego based. It's flipping amazing. It's amazing what they can do. But like, my kids love Legos. My kids love video games. But in fact, I'm sorry. I know this is gonna render me fogey, but I'm going Legos.
Well, see, I agree because we talked about wiffle ball transcending generations.
Yeah.
I could get me some Legos right now and build something and be enthralled by it.
Now,
Yeah.
I
Well, they make
prefer.
Legos when you look at the age that up into adult years. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ridge. I got him. His birthday was yesterday, and I got him a Ninjago Lego set where you make a dragon.
Mhm.
You had to
Yeah.
follow the directions. I mean, Randall, she built. Oh, daggone it! I forget what. It is a place from a cartoon, and she busted her butt on it and like built it. Followed the directions.
here's my argument. My argument against Legos. And this was. I'll be honest with you. I didn't play with Legos when I was a kid. Yeah, I didn't. But my son loved them. I mean, he. But this is what I gathered just from him. Once you put them together, which most kids these days are pretty damn good at that. They get them together pretty quickly.
Yeah.
They're pretty useless after you put them together. In theory, they're not because you can take them apart. You can try to build other things. But that doesn't usually happen. They usually either stayed together and just stayed as a decoration in the room now, or they got torn apart, never to be put back together again. To where PlayStation or a video game system, you're constantly those new games coming out, and you're able to keep on. It has staying power as opposed to.
I was going to put out the qualifier. I was going to say Legos as long as it was generic Legos, not a playset kind, but just a big old bucket of Legos. where I can build and I'm not listening to the directions I'm creating.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, Reg, he built a Venom head like Spider-Man's foil, and it's a bust of Venom that I can't even. I mean, I would not have had the patience to do that.
But I'll go Lego. I agree with you guys with what you said about Legos. I was just
Yeah.
throwing that out there about, that.
It's a valid point.
Yeah.
Valid point. Valid.
But I go
very valid.
Legos. I go Legos.
All right, Legos. All three of us Legos.
Miss
Savannah says
Wilson.
PlayStation. Dennis beat me to the punch. I was going to say, does
Oh.
Lego lose any points if you have to step on them?
Yeah, that's true.
That flipping hurts.
Yeah. Miss Wilson says Legos, even the Legos Masters TV show, your imagination versus someone else's imagination.
Ooh.
Like I said, transcends generations. I mean,
Yep.
Yes.
I think it's safe to say Legos wins. And that
Indeed.
concludes the first round of our tournament.
Yeah.
Can I throw this out there too? What shocked me when I went to Legoland was like, oh god, the gift shop. Because there's going to be all these. I mean, it's the headquarters of Lego, but I was surprised of how reasonable. I thought they were going to gouge people,
Yeah.
but the Lego sets were pretty much on par because they
like
must have
Walmart.
figured that out.
Yeah, because there's the Lego store at the Kenwood Mall, or at least it used to be there. That's where we buy a lot of Ethan's and stuff. But they price wise, they were about the same as you buy a set at
Yeah.
Walmart or something.
Right.
The same set anyway. They just had a different selection.
They had a full size, like 6'3" Batman
Ooh,
that would have made a great set about,
setup.
stand about.
Yeah. All right. If you'd like a T-shirt, go to our website. Click the store button.
Soft as an alpaca's bum.
Yes, right. In the menu, see a store button. Click on that. Click on the picture of the T-shirt. That'll take you to buymeacoffee.com, which is our crowdsourcing platform. You can buy yourself a T-shirt. So,
I need to get these people as a sponsor. I love this stuff so much. Milo's
and Otis's.
the best sweet tea that I've not made myself. This is going to give me the diabetes. I drink way too much of this.
All
I
right,
love
Wilford. Do you remember when Wilford Brimley in the same commercial said diabetes and diabetes?
Yeah, like he couldn't make up his mind.
Right. All right. Let's play a game. All
Got
right.
my pencil and paper ready.
The game.
Misery Index.
Movie Index.
Classic.
Yes. All right. We obviously always invite our audience to join in. If you remember, it's been a while. Since we played a game. So Misery Index. The Misery Index goes from 0 to 100. And the higher the number, the more miserable the particular situation is. So I will give a situation to one of our contestants. And that contestant will give an answer, again, from 0 to 100. The other contestant can say higher or lower, so Card Shark style, to win the point.
The other contestant can say higher or lower.
Right.
Asparagus.
Asparagus. All right. Once again, we drew lots backstage. Todd will go first. So, what do you think? Do we have time to play to 10 or should we play to 5?
Doesn't matter to me. 7.
Try 10. 7? Okay, 7.
Split the difference.
All right. Todd, Misery Index. First gray hair.
I think that's one that people tend to over. There's some dramatics when that happens, but I think in general it's pretty low. I'm going to go about a 7.
7. Brady?
I agree with him, although we're speaking as men. I think if
we speak as men.
we speak as men,
We're men. Manly men.
I think our female listeners might have a stronger take. That's been my opinion at least. But for us menfolk, I would say 7. But I'm going to go higher because we have to figure in our female listeners and their takes on it. So I'm going to say higher.
Okay. The misery index of a first gray hair is 6.5. Todd almost hit it.
He
right
gets
on
the whole
head.
showcase.
Yeah, that's right. And he takes a 1-0 lead. Brady,
See,
you're on a plane.
snakes on it.
Mid-air turbulence.
Does it say how bad it is?
Mid-air turbulence.
I think people get way too excited about turbulence because it's just like a bump in the road. I've had potholes that are worse than turbulence. You know,
In your lawn?
huh? Oh yeah. Yeah. Sorry, took me a second. But I know there are some people that are afeared by it. I'm gonna say 40.
40. Todd, mid-air turbulence, higher or lower than 40?
Brady's number surprises me based on his build up to it. Because I was going to comment on how much of an oddball Brady is. I've never known anybody that likes to fly as much as Brady. You know how most people's perfect idea of when they pass away is like peacefully in their sleep. I think Brady seriously wants to be peacefully asleep on a plane. Like, he has no fear. So I was thinking his number was going to take that into consideration, but he ended up going higher than I thought he was going to go.
I was figuring other people. Honestly,
yeah.
I was thinking about you.
Well, yeah.
So I was trying to balance out like me and you, and that's
Yeah.
the number I came.
Because I was because when you were talking, I thought he's going to go like 5 or 10 or something, and I'm going to go higher. But I'm still going to go a little higher only because, and I am not the flyer you are, but I still think that first reaction by people is just doom. And I think so. I think it's higher.
Higher. Okay, mid-air turbulence. Misery index is 8.
Oh. All that for
No,
that.
I thought your reasoning was going the right way.
So
1 to
Brady, yeah.
1.
It's one of those ones where you hate for anybody to get a point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no kidding, Dennis. I tell that story. So Dennis and I were on the same trip to London back in 1990 something, 1996, I think. Turbulence wasn't a deal, but it's like we were landing in the fog and the pilot didn't see the runway until it was right there. So we went like from 40,000 feet to 2,000 feet, like whoom. And I'm like in the fetal position because I thought my eardrums were going to explode. Like,
Oh, that's awful.
it was awful.
Yeah. I didn't
Oh
know
my
you'd been in London.
gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
All right, Brady.
See. Are you sure?
That's
No,
me.
Todd.
Yep.
Todd.
Yeah.
Sorry. Todd, an X-ray finds a lost toy.
What?
Someone X-rays your body and finds a lost toy.
Well, like Jackass when he puts the Hot Wheel in his bottle.
That's all it says. X-ray finds lost toy.
You talking a dog toy? A fast food restaurant toy?
Play-Doh. A wiffle ball bat.
A Lincoln log. I'm going to say, well, there could be some happiness there if you were looking for said toy.
True.
There it is.
But I think the embarrassment would be, I'm going to say,
So I guess you got to figure what is the misery here? The embarrassment or
The passing of it.
yeah, 57.
57? Brady, X-ray finds a lost toy. Higher or lower than 57?
See, I'm putting aside personal feelings because and I'm trying to gauge the game. I'm trying to gauge the survey of peoples, and I think it's going to be higher, Bob.
Higher. X-Ray finds a lost toy. Misery index of 98.5. So I'm thinking
I wasn't expecting that.
Is this-
That's almost unanimous.
Is this Wimps edition? You got to tough it
no,
out.
No, I'm thinking it's the embarrassment.
The
factor.
embarrassment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got to know the whole radiology staff and physicians and nurses. They're like, look where we found Chewbacca, you know?
All right, Brady's up 2-1. Brady,
Let's see.
misery index of losing a fingernail.
It doesn't say how you lost it. It just
Nope.
falls off.
Lose a
It
fingernail.
doesn't say if you're in pain. You're just, you've
Lose a
lost a
fingernail.
fingernail.
Lose a fingernail.
20.
No disagreement. 20.
You sounded so. Yeah, that was so
Dismissive.
matter of factly.
Oh,
I spoke of my issue of my fingernails earlier. Here's what I think of. Wasn't there in The Fly with Jeff Goldblum
I know what you're. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
when he's peeling his fingernails off?
Yeah.
They're all
So-
pussy.
If your entire fingernail is gone,
Did you say pussy?
It was oozing.
if your entire fingernail is gone, okay. So first off, you have the pain, you have the sickening, just the look of it. You have the fact that you can't do anything until. I mean, if your whole nail is gone, will it grow back?
Depends.
I mean, like, it can't be the same after it grows back. I mean,
I don't know. Never lost one.
well, my wife actually has she doesn't mind me telling this because most people that know her know it, but she has a fingernail that's kind of messed up, and it was from when she was a little kid. Somebody sat on her finger on a desk, and it pretty much popped her fingernail off. Yeah, she was she was a preemie. She was very tiny, and it was a bigger girl that sat on her hand and it pinched it against the desk, and it popped. And her fingernail never did grow back correctly. It's not a normal fingernail, so that's what makes me think if you lost your entire nail, I'm gonna go higher. I got to go higher on this.
All right. So
Now
losing a
You
fingernail.
got open quick. You just got open quick there for.
Ugh. So Brady said 20. Todd says higher. Losing a fingernail misery index is 35.5.
See, I was just thinking because there wasn't any specifics about the pain or anything, just having a bald finger. I'm not sure if that's not too miserable. And you
Yes,
could always
but-
put a prosthetic on there, but the pain of losing it and everything that takes it to a different level. I didn't
Well, I'm
figure
not
that
even
in
talking
my
about
answer.
the pain of actually losing it, but the pain once it's gone. I mean, you would never. You would always be bumping it on stuff. You couldn't reach in your pocket to get a dime without rubbing it on your trouser.
I was to say you never know how much your fingernail protects your finger until you don't have one. Probably.
Yeah.
Makes it harder to climb a tree.
So Dennis says he smashed his left thumbnail in January of 22 and took 1 year to grow back. So your fingernail is just a month old,
I was
Dennis.
going to say, congratulations on the new nail.
Happy birthday, Neil.
Todd.
Happy Blanken birthday nail.
Todd, misery index of your favorite show being canceled.
Yeah, that's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
We tend to get probably too invested in shows, and we tend to probably spike this number up when it shouldn't be. I mean, in the reality of things, it probably should be a 0.1. I mean,
Right.
but we like our entertainment. I'm going to say 23.
23. Brady, favorite show being canceled, higher or lower than 23?
Now, there's my favorite show's ending, like when Sons of Anarchy ran its course, when Seinfeld went off the air. That left a void in my life. That was my Thursday night. When Burn Notice stopped, final episode. There's left voids in my life, but but I can rewatch them now in that days. 1975, when I was a little kid, that's different. But
Yeah.
now I'm gonna say lower. I'm gonna say lower because we can rewatch them and on demand streaming and everything. Kind of takes some of the misery out of it.
But but if it's canceled, there's no new episodes, I guess.
True.
But I see what you're
Right.
saying.
Okay, so Todd, you said 43, right?
23.
23. Sorry.
23.
So favorite shows canceled. Todd says 23. Brady says lower. Misery index is 4.5.
That's probably right. That's
Yeah.
what it should be.
And Dennis makes the pretty much same point there. When there were 3 channels, the fear was real.
Yeah.
Now, not so much. And I thought of that the other day. You've got all these streaming services that have all these first run shows. Like, how's there enough money and resources to pay for all the? I mean, some of these like streaming services have big name actors that are in these
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
Like where's the money and the resources come from?
Seems endless.
It does.
Yeah.
All right, so Brady takes a 3-2 lead. Brady.
See? Oh no.
Brady, you eat a jelly donut. Wait, that wasn't jelly. It was mold.
Oh.
Tastes like dirt.
It tastes like ashes. What's your misery? What's your misery index?
That's pretty miserable. I'm gonna say 60.
If for mold to have the consistency where you think it's jelly, that's the worst part of that. It's not like you bite into it and it's just fuzz. It's like your mouth's full of fuzz. It's
Or is it that dry mold, like when you bite into it and it's like somebody blew chalk dust in the back of your throat? Like,
well, but he said like you ate it and then you find out that it wasn't jelly, so it had to have the consistency of jelly.
well, you were expecting jelly. It
Oh,
doesn't
is that what
say-
it said? I thought it said
Yeah.
you eat it and then you find out that wasn't jelly,
Well,
that was mold.
It says you eat a jelly donut.
So-
wait. So you ate the whole donut, I guess.
Yeah.
So Brady
60.
said 60.
Yeah.
Todd, higher or lower?
Well, I don't think the mold inside of just a jelly donut
Ah.
would hurt you. So I think it's just mind over matter at that point. If you already ate it, I'm going to go lower.
Lower. Well, first of all, I think the picture of a jelly donut looking like it's vomiting is outstanding.
See, that's what I was expecting, but that was gonna be dusty. Like if you ground up a bunch of pool chalk,
That would have been like
And
a
it
powder
poop-
donut.
yeah, it poofs.
Yeah. No, but this is sticky. This is like moss.
Moss. All right. You eat a jelly donut. Wait, that wasn't jelly. It was mold. Misery index number is 4.
Get out. They're foolish. They'd be writhing and vomiting.
But don't you think it would be worse if you had half of it eaten and somebody said, that's mold, that's not jelly? Then it would be higher. But you already ate it. There's not much you can do about it.
Well, then how do you know then?
Somebody comes and says, oh, by the way,
Those donuts.
You
were
just ate
mold.
mold.
yeah, those donuts were moldy.
Then I'm going to call them for being a foul friend because if they knew and they saw you eating it, they didn't say, wait, that's mold. It's like, by the way.
Or maybe it was just a case where you picked up the donut, you ate it, and someone else came in the room, started to pick up a donut, and said, "Hey, these donuts are moldy."
Yeah. Yeah. And clearly the taste of it didn't keep you from eating it. So it could have been bad tasting mold.
I mean, blue cheese is mold. So maybe it's tasty mold.
All right, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
2 words. In traction.
I got to wrap my head around this. In traction.
Yes.
two words or two syllables?
You're in traction.
Yes, you are in traction. See the picture?
Yeah.
I don't even know if they do that anymore, do they?
No.
I'm gonna go relatively low here. 17.
17. Brady, higher or lower than 17?
I am in a rare position where I was in traction once.
So you know the feeling.
It sucks. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. You feel like a marionette.
Yeah.
They had the brand, and to be honest, looking back as an adult, I think it was malpractice. I don't think it, from what they thought was wrong with me, traction in my mind only makes it worse. So it was pretty awful. I'm gonna go higher.
Okay. So in traction, Todd said 17. Brady says higher. That number is 72.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not being very empathetic there.
And it's like, actually, do you know what it is exactly?
I vaguely. I mean, I know what you're talking. It made more sense when you were talking about because I know
Yeah.
what you had.
So basically,
it's-
what they did is they wrapped
Yeah,
my leg,
I knew it was kind of mummified, like mummifying.
Yeah.
yeah.
and they give you a stirrup, and then there's this metal hook, and then they put big old heavy sandbags on a pulley, and so it yanks, it pulls and stretches it, and like I said, I still have no idea what the point was.
Yeah.
There was no diagnosis. Now, as an adult looking back on it, it was like one of those, what the heck,
You think you think it's an old fashioned method that's not used anymore?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think now backs, people with backs, I can see that there are, but not knees.
Yeah.
Nah, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
All right. Brady,
See?
this is funny just because, but Brady, you learned your mom dropped acid while pregnant.
Explains a lot. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm joking. 5.
5. Todd, higher or lower than 5? You learned your mom dropped acid while pregnant.
I mean, I think it depends on if you're living with like
An impairment.
if you're living with something that was caused by that. I could.
A disorder.
Yeah.
A propensity to listen to the Grateful Dead.
You said 5, Brady.
Brady said
Yeah.
5.
I'm gonna go slightly higher.
Okay. You learned your mom dropped acid while pregnant. Brady says 5. Todd says slightly higher. The number is 50.5.
Okay, now
It's because we have such we hold our moms in such.
We do hold them in high regard.
Yeah, I think that's what it boils down to.
the feelings, conventional feelings about acid, it seems to be like in the last 5 years have really changed, because like the medical community is getting into it to like treat certain, for Pete's sake, even like Aaron Rodgers said he had a life-changing moment, spiritual moment. No, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying. I'm talking about, you know what I mean? And I can't imagine people. It's not.
I think it's because we have an unfair
lens.
No, yeah, I mean, like we don't realize our moms were people too once. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like when your kids see you outside of school and they're blown away that you actually are not some troll that lives in your classroom, and you actually leave and you go out and you
That I come home and play with my beakers and test tubes and do science all
I mean,
day.
we tend to think our moms are perfect and they're humans, so I that's where I think that's coming from. I don't.
Yeah. Agreed.
I can't imagine my mom dropping acid. And if I knew, I don't think I would be upset because I would really like to see what happened when she did. So, you know,
Maybe
what?
make a terrible statement. So maybe that's why your mom called your dad Mousy, because she dropped acid one and thought she saw a big mouse.
There's a
I don't know.
mouseman coming to the house.
I'm sorry, Linda.
Yeah,
I'm
we're just
sorry.
teasing. We're just teasing, but like,
Yeah, but here's the thing: if she ever did, there's no way in hell she's going to tell you now that she that she
No.
dropped
No.
acid, Brady.
No.
that's
You
true.
ruined that, man.
I don't think there was a lot of acid in Ripley when she graduated. She just graduated. She graduated in 1960, so that's
Okay.
before the hippie era started.
Yeah, I don't think any of our parents were probably around much acid.
No,
Maybe some acid rain.
Yeah. Right.
some acid reflux.
All right. All right. So 4-4. Todd,
Yep.
your hand is super glued to your face.
That's called Tuesday.
Man, yeah, I think it depends on which part of your face. If it's
Here, here,
yeah, we're there, but if it's there,
Yeah.
here.
If
That'd
you're,
be
if you're in the permanent thinker position.
yeah, I'm gonna think that people are gonna go higher here than what I. 46.
46. Brady, your hand super glued to your face, higher or lower than 46?
I'm gonna go beyond the physical misery. I'm going to add to that. I'm gonna go higher because you're gonna have some splaining to do. Not only is your hand super glued to your face, but you're at a board meeting or a parent teacher conference or conducting a presentation and you have to tell, like, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he do what's wrong? And you're going to have to constantly explain.
It could be as easy as explain to something like you were putting together a model and got model glue on your hand and then scratched your cheek or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm going to go higher because of not because of the physical misery, the emotional misery.
Gotcha. All right. So your hand super glued to your face. Todd said 46. Brady said higher. The misery index number is 51.
Ooh.
Just slightly higher. So Brady takes a 5-4 lead.
We're getting close.
backwards and forwards.
Yeah. Brady, a 2-week migraine.
Oh, I have had a migraine thrice in my life. Still don't know why they randomly came on. It was awful. It was painful. Very uncomfortable. I also have my cousin's wife suffered from horrible migraines, and it was debilitating. I am going to say 65.
65. Todd, 2-week migraine, higher or lower than 65?
Higher.
Higher. No splaining needed, just higher.
Yeah.
All right. 2-week migraine. Brady says 65. Todd says higher. The misery index number is 51.5.
Brady's
So,
pulling away.
Brady is on the precipice.
Yes.
The precipice.
He's in the barn.
Yeah.
Bairn.
I just got that one diamond showing, like a euchre when you're in the barn where you just barely Hey, Todd, is that a jawbreaker you have?
No, it's a stress ball.
I am.
Hey, where's your sucker?
I
That's why you're losing.
That's why I'm losing. Yes. I don't have my sucker or my stress man. I got my stress
Your
ball, but not my
stressman?
stress.
I don't have my juice box. Do you know how hard it is to find high C juice boxes these days?
No.
Must be a supply side. You weren't supposed to answer that fast.
Oh goodness.
All right. Todd,
Yes.
your best friend marries your ex.
so
Glad
much,
you didn't ask me this first.
there's so much. There's just so much involved. Like, I mean, if it depends on if the ex is somebody you get along with. It depends on how the breakup was. It depends on if they had your blessing.
There are kids involved.
If there are kids involved.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say relatively low. I'm going to say 28.
28. Brady, your best friend marries your ex. Higher or lower than 28?
Lower.
Lawyer.
Because you kind of get to sit back and chuckle. So, yeah.
All right. Your best friend marries your ex. Misery index number 52.
52.
Oh.
52. Todd,
That's
still in the
higher than-
game. Still in
It's
the
definitely
game.
higher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, me too.
The last three have been like right around mid 50, like 51, 51 and a
Those
half,
are hard
52.
ones.
We're going in order. Next one's going to be 52.5.
It's like when you're playing Card Sharks and there's a 7.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's like,
Brady,
Let's see.
chronic insomnia.
Well, that's pretty miserable. The first and only time I ever drank a Red Bull when it first came out, I was driving back from Florida by myself, making the trip in my Toyota RAV4. And I see that commercial. I'm getting a little tired. I'll try it. Well, it tasted like can. It was not pleasant. And I did not sleep for a day and a half. It was awful. So my mouth tasted like can. And I was tired because I couldn't sleep.
I don't know why it struck me so funny. My mouth tasted like can.
So I'm going to say that it's kind of miserable. Does it say how long you have insomnia?
Chronic.
Chronic.
Not because of chronic.
I was just say that's
Chronic.
good. Chronic insomnia. 65.
City 5. Todd.
Tough, that's tough.
Higher or lower than 65 on the chronic insomnia?
I'm going to go slightly higher.
Slightly higher. All right. Chronic insomnia. Brady says 65. Todd says slightly higher. Misery index number is
It is 52.
52.5.
Will you go back to the last four cards? Look at the numbers. It was 51, 51 and a half, 52, 52 and a half.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
All right. So this one was 52 and a half. Best friend marries your ex was 52. 2-week migraine was 51 and a half. Your hand is super glued to your face. 51.
Let's play one more.
Learn your mom
51.
dropped acid was 50 and a half.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
Did you shuffle this deck?
And traction was 72 and a half.
So we had 5 in a row.
We had 5 in a row.
Dang.
Wow.
That's very mid.
Very
Five,
good. Yeah.
5 that went up by a half of a point each in 5 straight cards.
That is
I
correct.
don't know why that. Yeah, that just.
Slightly more miserable as we went.
Brady's the
Good game.
victor.
It's,
Oh,
can't steal my celebration.
okay.
All right. Wonderful show. Wonderful show. gentlemen.
Fun times.
A couple comments here while we were playing, Dennis. When your hand got glued to your face, hoped you weren't picking your nose.
Yeah.
And it made Savannah think of American Pie 2. What scene was that? American
Not
Pie
sure.
2?
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Probably only saw it once, maybe in the theater, and that was it. I don't know. All right. At any rate, we thank everyone for joining us. And as always,
Short episode.
Yeah, short. Right?
Might need to take 2 bites of this one, listeners out there.
Audio version will come out Friday morning, 3 a.m. Anchor.fm is our main platform. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and the iHeartRadio app, and most anywhere else you can find an audio podcast. Video. Spotify has video now. That's where our most of our episodes, actually, our episodes all the way back to 90-something have been video on Spotify. But also we're on YouTube, on our Play It By Ear podcast channel, Twitch.
Twitch.
Play It By Ear podcast channel there as well. And of course, the video Facebook versions are archived as well on our Facebook page. Social media, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagrams. Those links are at our website, www.playitbyearpodcast.com. You can also interact with us via email, admin@playitbyearpodcast.com. You can leave us a voice message. Click the link at your podcast provider. If that provider is the iHeartRadio app, you can hit the microphone button that says talk back. That will leave us a voice message. So Savannah says when he's super glued to himself on a too.
Glued himself to himself. That's the nicest euphemism ever. I think I kind of remember it.
Right. Yes, himself.
Himself to himself.
Miss Wilson welcomes you back, Todd.
Thank you, Miss Wilson.
All right. Well, I guess Todd will be back next week to finish his bracket.
Definitely. Probably get through round 2 of the bracket.
Yeah.
Brackets are slow going.
Yeah.
I'm cracking up because it's like 2 hours and 21 minutes in, and it feels like 10 minutes.
Right.
Yep.
I got to talk to the gentleman here about the schedules for next week. I have a board meeting on Wednesday of next week, so
Skip it. See, you got more important things to do.
Yeah, that'll
Listen,
work.
School board.
Yeah.
That'll
Say
work.
this is more like a board meeting, if you know what I mean.
All right, but we'll keep you updated as to when our next episode will be. But enjoyed it immensely, gents.
Yeah.
Peace.
So like I said, we'll keep you updated, and join us next time for 124.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear.